Developing tonight, a Beaumont police officer is recovering from serious head injuries in Houston. Good evening to you. I'm Jordan Williams. The officer fell off of a car while responding to a disturbance outside of Little Woodrow's early this morning. Police say 28-year-old Jameisha Butler and 22-year-old Melissa Bell had too much to drink. An officer put Bell in his car, arresting her, but Butler took off. And the video shows what happened next. We have to warn you, it's difficult to watch. Butler headed for her convertible. The responding officer not far behind. You'll see here he jumps onto the back of the car hoping to stop her, but instead he fell off and hit his head on the pavement. 12 News reporter Ebony Coleman joins us. And Ebony, folks at nearby businesses say this really highlights ongoing security challenges.
So Jordan, we want to warn you that the video that you just saw, it is difficult to watch. Police tells us that the officer was originally called to the bar for a disturbance. He was injured while trying to arrest the two women. You may have seen this viral video. It shows the officer, who hasn't been identified, attempting to stop a woman who was driving away at Little Woodrow's on Phelan early Friday morning. The woman inside the car is 28-year-old Jameisha Butler. You can see as the officer jumped on top of the car, but he fell off and hit his head on the pavement. 12 News spoke to Ashley Johnson, branch manager at Regional Finance. She works a few doors down from Little Woodrow's. Johnson calls the incident concerning.
For that to happen and only be one cop out here, I think that was very dangerous, the way the car just sped off, and that was just it. So it's a little bit concerning.
Johnson says she blames the trouble on the younger crowds the bar seems to attract.
Every so many months, there's something going on there, and I just think it's because the crowd is getting bigger.
Johnson wishes the West Park property owner, Albanese Cormier, would also beef up safety so she feels safe walking to her car after work.
Maybe having one security guard on duty is not enough. Maybe you need to have more, or maybe you need to implement other rules. Maybe, have people inside walking. If you instantly see something about to happen, maybe you can let that group of people go early versus letting things linger on. And
I've reached out to Albanese Cormier, the West Park's property owner, to discuss the security concerns. I haven't yet to hear back from anybody. I'm in studio, Ebony Coleman, 12 News.
Thank you, Ebony. Butler is charged with intoxication, assault, and evading detention. Police say both charges are enhanced because they involve serious bodily injury to an officer. The second woman, 22-year-old Melissa Bell, was arrested before the officer was hurt. She faces multiple charges, including public intoxication, resisting arrest, interference with public duties, and assault on a peace officer. Good evening, I'm Jordan Williams. Developing tonight, a Beaumont police officer is back home after being hurt during a disturbance outside Little Woodrow's last week. A video of the incident went viral. The officer hit his head and ended up with a brain bleed. Tonight, we're hearing from the Good Samaritans who stepped in to help. 12 News reporter Kayla Chote caught up with Nick Walker and Stanley Norris. And Kayla, Norris actually used the officer's radio to call for backup.
That's right, Jordan. As a true crime fanatic, Stanley Norris says he learned that police radios have a red emergency button. It alerts other first responders when an officer is in distress. Norris never imagined he'd be the one to press it.
First thing that came to mind was to run over there and help him, but the other man got there first.
A night out with coworkers quickly took a turn for Stanley Norris. Around 1:40 a.m. Thursday, he recalls,
a couple of dudes had got my attention because I was with the females, and so they had got my attention that they was back there with the lawman, and then that's when I had stepped out the car, and then that's when everything had happened.
Beaumont police say Jameisha Butler jumped into a red Chevy convertible with the top down. As she tried to drive away, an officer followed and attempted to jump into the back seat, but fell hard on his head. In the video, Nick Walker is seen rushing to help the officer.
We didn't know his head was actually busted until we picked him up and we had seen the blood.
In that moment, Norris was nervous, but with the help of Walker, they walked the officer to his patrol car.
Me and Nick ended up picking him up, and we was walking back to his patrol unit, and then that's when he had got dizzy. So we stopped, and then that's when I had got on the radio and let him know what was going on.
Officer right here that's got a gash in the back of his head.
Humbly reflecting in a statement to 12 News, Nick Walker says, "I was just there. I seen someone that needed help, not an officer. just a man that was hurt. No thanks necessary to me, but thank God I was able to help in the smallest way. Throughout the ordeal, both men stayed by the officer's side, with Norris informing dispatch that he wouldn't leave until help arrived.
Stand by, I'm right here with him.
He was the only officer there, so I was just letting him know that I was there until, everybody else came.
The injured BPD officer spent 3 days in a Houston hospital with a serious brain bleed, but was released Sunday and is now recovering. Both men say it's important to never hesitate to help others in need. In studio, Kayla Shote, 12 News.
All right, Kayla, good to see that they're getting some recognition for what they did that night. We can tell you more about the women. Jameisha Butler is charged with intoxication, assault, and evading detention. Both of her charges are enhanced because they involve serious bodily injury to the officer. A second woman, Melissa Bell, also arrested. She faces several charges, including assault on a peace officer.
Thank you, Carrie. The bonds have been set for 2 Beaumont women arrested in connection to a disturbance outside Little Woodrow's. The incident left an officer seriously injured. Police say 28-year-old Jameisha Butler and 22-year-old Melissa Bell had too much to drink. The officer put Bell in his car, but Butler took off. We'll show you video of what happened next and a warning: it is difficult to watch. Butler headed for her convertible. The responding officer jumped on top of the car, trying to stop her, but he fell off and hit his head. Justice of the Peace Ben Collins set Butler's bond at $250,000 for felony assault on a peace officer, $30,000 for evading arrest causing serious bodily injury, and $2,500 for evading. Now, Bell's bond is set at $150,000 for felony assault on a peace officer, $2,500 for resisting arrest, and $1,500 for interfering with public duties.
2 women who were arrested in connection to a disturbance that left a BPD officer hurt have bonded out of jail. The officer hurt his head in the Little Woodrow's parking lot last week when he jumped onto the back of Jameisha Butler's car. She drove off and he fell to the ground. The officer is out of the hospital, now recovering at home. Butler is charged with evading arrest causing serious bodily injury and failure to maintain proof of insurance. Her bonds totaled more than $30,000. Bell is charged with multiple crimes, including assault on a peace officer. Her bond was set at more than $100,000. Again, both women bonded out of jail last night.